Alright, we got one here. Not sure how big he is. Kind of feeling like it might be a decent sized crappie here all of a sudden. Oh yeah, feeling like a little weight to him right here. Hope we got a keeper right here maybe. Getting ready to find out right here in a second. Let's see what we got. Yeah, we got a good crappie right here. Yeah, we got a good one right here. This is going to be a keeper for sure. Look at that, boys. There's a good one right there, boys. Liking that little green jig. Little green, old school green jig. It's got a little sparkle in it. Little black head. We're going to put him up on the bank and get back out there real quick like. Almost that old crappie right here. Put him on the stringer here in a minute or three and get back out there and get another one. Alright, well, I got back out there, but I didn't really get on them though. That was the only crappie I caught on that day. Unfortunately, it's been kind of difficult around here crappie fishing. The weather patterns have been kind of off. Things going on in life in general. What few fishing trips I've had, we just have not been able to. Get on the crappie there the way I really would like to get on them. We got one. I hope this is a crappie. Came up and thumped it pretty good. I think it might be a crappie. Yeah, it's a crappie, I'm pretty sure. Right here, a little bit before dark, we finally got one. I think it's a decent one. Probably going to be pretty close to a keeper if I can get him in here. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, looks like it's going to be close to a keeper. Let me get him measured up here and see. Decent white crappie. He hit that little green jig right there, curly tail. On this windy day, boy, we got a lot of wind out here. Oh yeah, he's gonna measure up there. Good 10.5, close to 11. We'll put him on the stringer right here. I want to show you this little weighted float right here. I found this float in one of my little fishing spots there. It's a water weighted float. You can see it's got the water in it. And the way I've got this set up, I've got a swivel right here, and that's acting as a stop for the float. You see the line goes through the float. And so it kind of occurred to me, one thing that was happening the other day, a few weeks ago, was when I would get a bite, the way I had my other float set up, I actually had the line physically attached up here because this is 8-pound mono, and down here I would have my 4-pound leader attached below the float. So when I'd get a bite, a real hard hit, that float was so big, I think it was giving the fish a chance to break the line, and I had a few that just snapped this 4-pound test, and I think that's what it was, the drag of that big float. But see, in this case, what's going to happen is when they pull it, the float's going to stay up in the water. Well, we did catch a fish right here, folks, a yellow bass. Decent little yellow bass. Come up and get this little green jig. It's a good sign. Gotta watch out for those fins, boy. He'll get you there in a hurry. Turn that little bugger loose. There you go. On windy days, when I want to make a long cast, this is about the only way I can do it, is with this weighted float. And here we've had a lot of windy days, And these extra heavy floats have really, they do make a difference if you need to make a long cast. If you don't necessarily need to make a long cast, then you don't really need something like this. If you're in a boat, you can get up close to where you're going to be fishing, then this really is not really necessary. But for the people walking the bank, maximum casting distance at times will be what will make the difference. So having this in your arsenal, the ability to put on this big honking float and cast it way out there on a windy day, you might be able to just hit that one little piece of cover that's holding some of them big slab crappie. So it's your only method to get out there at times. So again, the way I do it, I've got 8-pound test, because you need a little durability when you're slinging this heavy weight. If you start trying to sling a big weight like this on 4-pound test, it's going to snap on you a lot. So 8's about your minimum, but below that, with this little swivel, I come off of it with the 4-pound test leaders. Let's see if we got a little crappie maybe. I can't tell. I don't think it's a crappie. Could be. Little yellow belly. That's 2 little yellow bellies. Decent size, almost big enough to chew on. I think we're going to turn him loose though. There's a few crappie around, and so we got 1 crappie so far, so that's a good sign. So a lot of the trips I had, I think a couple of trips I caught 1 crappie one day. The next trip I caught another crappie. So I'll show you those crappie here in the video, and a few little yellow bass. You know, you almost always catch a few yellow bass this time of year. It just sort of goes with the territory, but that's really kind of a good sign. If the yellow bass are in there, that's a good sign you might find some crappie in there as well. But in general, for me, the pattern has not been that great. I hadn't really been able to get on them, so that just goes with crappie fishing. You know, if you got on them every time, it may not really be that much fun after a while. It's the challenge of the chase, and not knowing if they're going to be there can make the difference in wanting to get out there and catch them. You know, if you don't get on them for a trip or two, you start to get a little bit anxious, and it's like you want to get out there as soon as you can and see if you can get a pattern established on them. What we got right there? Let's see what we got. Yeah, gonna be a big skipjack. There you go, skipjack. Let's go easy with him so he don't break my line here. You want this, skipjack? Keep them. Here's another one for catfish bait, I guess.
Thank you.
All right, good. All right, here is a tip for you beginning crappie fishermen. A lot of the views that we get here on YouTube come from beginning fishermen just learning to fish. They want to get out there. They want to learn how to catch crappie from the bank. So here's a tip for you if you're just starting out, if you're having trouble catching crappie, you're having trouble finding crappie. If you're using jigs and they're just not working for you, and you haven't tried minnows, then by all means try yourself some minnows. And you might even want to exclusively start to fish with minnows all the time. For a bank fisherman, minnows as you go into the spawn can be deadly. I mean, they can be your best all-around bait for the beginning fisherman. A couple of reasons are crappie love minnows. Obviously, they're going to hit them without any problem. The other thing is you can use multiple rods, so that increases your odds. So if you're in an area you don't know if the crappie are really in there, you can fan out 3 or 4 rods with minnows on them, and way out, close in, different depths, and I think it gives a beginning fisherman a little easier chance to find and catch fish. So that would be my tip for the new beginning fisherman. Buy yourself some minnows and go that route under a float and just see what happens. Raise the camera. Yeah, another little yellow bass. It's about 5 of these little yellow bass out here in the dark. Getting dark on us. Wind's about to blow us off of here. We did get a little yellow bass right here. Got some spectators. Yellow bass. So here's another tip for you. If you're trying to locate a place to catch crappie from the bank, really you may or may not have a lot of choices depending on where you live, what part of the country you live in. But the best thing I think you can do is try to pinpoint all the access points within a close proximity to where you live that you think you might have a chance to legally, publicly fish on whatever water you're looking at. You kind of go scope it out and see if you see any other fishermen fishing. Look for other crappie fishermen. This time of year, if there are bank areas that are publicly accessible and crappie do show up in those areas, then the fishermen are going to be in those areas. All right, the fishermen are going to know where the crappie show up, the dedicated crappie fishermen. So you'll start to see the crappie fishermen lining up at different spots back into around different access points and different areas back in different creeks and coves. You'll start to see the crappie fishermen. So just scope them out, see what they're doing. Maybe go talk to them, just watch them from a distance and see what they're doing. And that's really the easiest way. It's kind of, it is a little bit sneaky or whatever, and I'm sure people do that. They look at my video, they see exactly where I'm fishing, and they go, oh, hey, I know where that guy's fishing. I can tell by the little landmarks there in the video. And I purposely leave those landmarks for that reason, just so the locals can see where I'm fishing. And if they want to go try to catch a crappie and have a chance to catch one, then you know, hey, I've done a good thing. I've helped somebody out. And that's really what it's all about, is helping our fellow fishermen out to either learn how to fish better and help them find a spot to fish. Because for a lot of people, and like me, fishing is more of a therapy type thing. It's not really a sport per se, as it is a recreational activity that we can get better health, vitality, we can improve our mental health. And so if I'm holding back on a fishing spot and I'm preventing someone who's having a bad day from being able to go out to a spot and have a pretty good chance to catch a fish, then I don't want to be that guy that's holding back on that information. And there's hey, I understand there's only so many fishing spots to go around, and you don't want to give your fishing spots away, really. But at the same time, in life, it's not about being greedy and hanging on and keeping things a secret. It's kind of hard to have a fishing video and keep things a secret. You know, people can see and they can use landmarks, so you're really not keeping anything a secret. For those guys that do kind of not purposely say, hey, I'm not going to say where I'm fishing and all that, I sort of do understand.